listen, Ant is one of my favorite players to watch.
Mine too.
By far. But even something like that, we never would have made no statement like that.
Right. Right.
All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you all are having a good day so far. So by this point, I'm sure you all know about what Antman said about Jordan's era and the fact that Jordan's the only one who had any talent or any skill back in that time. And you've probably seen some of the snapback from players like Dominique Wilkins, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Eddie Johnson, Mark Jackson, Kenny Smith, Muggsy Bogues. I've reacted to all of it. So I thought I'd switch it up. I saw a video pop up, and this is from, I wanted, this sparked an interest in me. What does Antman's peers think of all this disrespect? So here we have DeRozan and Paul George respond to Anthony Edwards' no skill in Michael Jordan's era comments. And this is from the Podcast P channel. I'm going to link the original video down below if you want to check it out on your own. Yeah, everybody else, please leave a like to this video. If you wanted to pump out like you did with the last one, the Muggsy Bogues one, you guys did a fantastic job. You pumped that one out to the moon, and a lot of people saw it. And it wasn't just old heads that saw it. It was a lot of young people that saw it too. And I think it's important. So anyways, let's see what his peers have to say. These guys are a little bit older than Ant, but definitely not 90s guys, so it's kind of like bridging the gap here because they're kind of Ant's elders, but not his super elders. So let's see what they have to say. I'm really curious, man. I hope they don't jump on board with Ant.
Do you think because these young guys are getting more money that they're less receptive to some criticism? I know you guys have said you worked with some good younger players and they've been asking you questions.
Wow, good
but
question.
Have you noticed a change in that with maybe other guys you've kind of seen throughout the league where you can't tell them nothing because he just signed for, you got 20 million or 30 million?
50 million.
Yeah, my problem, this is me speaking for me. My problem is, like all these guys that have an entitlement when it comes to certain shit, but you wouldn't know who fucking Horace Grant was. The knowledge of the game ain't there. And to me, that's what bothers me more so than anything. Mm-hmm. It's like, when I first came in the league, I could name every 90s team. I can name everybody who won the championship in the 90s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In the 80s. I can name, you know what I mean? I can name, like...
Name me all the names of the champions in the 90s.
Man,
I might not even know all the names. I know who Horace Grant is.
But you get my point, though.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So, I think the point he's getting at is come in knowing your history, So it's paying homage to your history, know the history of the game, and continue that legacy.
So with that being said, obviously, Anthony Edwards comes with the controversial statement.
There it is.
About nobody was skilled other than Jordan back in the day. What's your takes on that?
My take is like, listen, Ant is one of my favorite players to watch.
Mine too.
By far. But even something like that, we never would have made no statement like that.
Right.
And for some quick context here, last season I was a big Antman supporter. So this ain't coming from a place of hate. I just can't believe he said it and he stood by it. He stood by his statements. He hasn't apologized.
You see what I'm saying? Because regardless, at the end of the day, I respect every OG who ever played this game.
There you go.
This game was built on a foundation of taking steps of wherever it came from. Mm-hmm. And I never discredit wherever the league was at 20 years ago because it's all about, elevating, and granted, I only read the headlines of what he said. I don't know what context further he went into to further explain it, but if you look at it back then, those guys still was incredible. Mm-hmm. Like, they still was. Like, you look at a guy like fucking Ron Strickland.
Yeah, good shout out.
He wasn't skilled.
Right,
no.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It was for sure.
Like, you can't tell me it wasn't no skillful guys around just because at the time you have such a phenom of a athletic freak in Michael Jordan. Don't discredit everybody else.
Exactly.
Right.
We had one of the best bigs to ever play this game, Hakeem Olajuwon, playing the 90s. That was
had the most skilled.
He had
big.
the most skilled big I done seen play in the 90s.
I still think he's the most skilled big man I've ever seen. By the way, DeMar DeRozan, this is good to hear, man. This is cool to hear. This is refreshing for a change.
You know, win back-to-back championships, MVPs, defensive players. Like it's so many of those. You look at it, even a fucking Scottie Pippen. Like,
Yeah.
you see a Scottie Pippen like that today, you would think he a unicorn.
That's
You know
like
what I
Grant
mean?
Berry jumping from the free throw line.
It's
My gosh, I don't see that today.
That's so true. In his warm-ups.
but it's like, my thing is like, I was trying to understand where he was coming from, but I know from my point of view, I would never discredit or undermine anybody who came before me because regardless, like I watched fucking Alex English play.
Oh,
he wasn't
yeah.
fucking athletic. Like he wasn't this, but I used to always watch his tape on him on how he got buckets.
Yeah, he got a lot of
how he
buckets.
scored. Whether if it was simple or not, it was a skill that he had that he mastered. You know what I mean? You look at George Gervin, you don't see nobody shooting no finger rolls like him.
Right.
That's a skill that you cannot teach.
That is a
And I
skill.
feel like everybody had their own skill just because it wasn't to a Michael Jordan level. Don't discredit it. That's my only take to it.
Real quick, because we're going to see history repeat here. So the reason that all these players in the 90s are not remembered the way they should, it's not their fault. Jordan garnered so much attention, and trust me, I'm one of them, because Jordan was really that great. So he got so much attention from everybody that he's the majority. Like we remember in that era, 50% Jordan, the other 50% is distributed amongst all those other great players. Is it right? No. Am I being honest and real? Yes, I am. Unfortunately, this happens in sports. But we're going to see history repeat again because guess who's taken even more attention? And he's wanted it, LeBron James. So in the last 21 years or whatever, LeBron has taken so much attention away from so many other great players, especially those he's played for. You know, they're not going to be talking about Chris Bosh, you know, or what Kyrie did, or how Dwayne Wade was right there for those two championships with him in Miami, or Anthony Davis. They're not going to be talking about these guys. They're going to be remembering Steph Curry and LeBron James. That's what people are going to remember. And all these other players are going to be dropped to the wayside. Is it their fault? No. This is just the way it goes, though. But they have no idea yet because they're not old enough to understand this is what's going to happen to them. So they're going to get a taste of their own medicine. And Antman, if you don't win like 5 championships, same thing's going to happen to you, man. They're going to forget about you.
We had my pops on last episode, and so this was the conversation we had. And my viewpoint, and not to put words in his mouth or not to try to explain what he was trying to say, I took it as he was just trying to relate MJ to how we move in today's game. You know what I mean? Like us being athletic and high flying and athletic maneuvering, acrobatic in the air. That's what I was hoping he was referring to without being able to explain everything that he meant to say about that situation. So, hopefully I'm helping him in that.
Listen. We all got an opinion.
Because it was a bad take.
It was a bad
I get
take.
it, but from my perspective, like I said, bro, I got Ant, my favorite player. I got his jersey this year. I ain't gonna lie. I asked for it. I don't give a shit. But my point of view.
Hey, but that adds a lot of credibility to what DeMar DeRozan is saying because he's saying this is my favorite player, but he's still calling him out for the blasphemous statements.
It's just like I would never undermine anybody who came before me because they built a foundation for us to be where we was at today.
Yeah.
Now imagine somebody 20 years from now saying, Ant Edwards, you ain't that athletic. You know what I mean? Or you wasn't as skilled as, you know what I mean? Let's hope the game get that far ahead. You know what I mean? We all got to start and finish somewhere.
Yeah, that will be interesting because it's funny. It's more so like he's not talking about your guys' group. He's talking about a little bit before your guys' time. And I think he gets away with some of this things that he says just because he's outside looking in. He just has that personality where it's like, he doesn't have like a bad bone in his body.
Nah,
He's not,
yeah,
you know
I'm
what
a
I
good
mean? He's
kid.
just
I
one of those
don't
dudes that
think,
says
no.
what he thinks and what he feels, and
Yeah,
with a
I don't
smile
think it's
on
no
his face.
malicious intent behind it at all. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But it's just like, like that's why I said I just could never undermine
Yeah.
nobody who come before me. You know what I mean?
Prize Picks is the
Damn.
best.
Okay, that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. DeMar DeRozan especially, because he called it out as it is. And he even pointed out, like, well, someday they're going to be talking about us like that. You know what I mean? Because I really think that that's the case. And if you don't stand out to the point of God tier, it seems like you get forgotten. I mean, look at this. People are disrespecting Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Dr. J. Now they're disrespecting these eras as though Michael Jordan was the only great one. And I'm the biggest Jordan fan there is. But it's complete blasphemy to say those things about his era. Like, these are they're Hall of Famers, fantastic players, champions, and it just doesn't sit well to me. It's like if my father built a house with his bare hands and then gave it to me and said, "Here you go, son, it's your house." And right away I'm like, "Your house is shit, Pops. This house sucks. I don't want this damn house." That's how I feel about it. Like, it's just complete disrespect. I would never do that. And it's shocking to see because, the house of the NBA was built in the 80s and in the 90s. Started with Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Dr. J, that whole thing. And then Michael Jordan took it to a whole nother level, So they built a layer. Jordan built another layer on it. Kobe and Duncan added onto it. And now it's like we're just going to smash it down. And I can't get behind it. But anyways, you guys, I just wanted to check in. Paul George kind of evaded it a little bit. But the DeMar DeRozan, shout out to you for being real, and having some foresight into how people are going to be talking about your generation someday, because this is just the way history goes. Everybody, thanks for watching. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed it and you want to pump it out, get some eyes on it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, and I'll see you all very soon. Have a wonderful day.